It's Bruins Benders post game live, and it's on the Inside the Rink YouTube channel. Go ahead and hit subscribe, and you can get our content all season long. It's Maddie and it's Smitty, and it's the Bruins with a 3-game winning streak after a 4-2 win at Chicago against the Blackhawks, and half the former Bruins that are in the league. So it was it was the captain Brad Marchand, and it was the Bruins again, kind of playing the way they need to play, being a little stingier defensively, and outshooting an opponent again, which is becoming a trend as well.
Yeah, good signs. I thought they were good overall. Couple of breakdowns in the first. They leave a guy wide open. Swayman slides out of the crease in the first. I think you would want that one back. And in the second, they leave a guy wide open in the high slot. Pinballs in off a couple guys. But, other than those, a couple of breakdowns, Swayman wasn't particularly tested in this one. I didn't feel like, a couple of saves maybe that were, but not really many high danger chances for Chicago. So that's a good sign. And then the Bruins score 4 goals, 2 by the captain. He all of a sudden leads the team in goals, where he was struggling for a bit, and all of a sudden he's got 10. Morgan Geekie doubles his goal output in one game. So that's nice to see. And Geeks kept the receipts, I think, huh?
He did. Geeks and Marchand with the TNT crew.
Yeah.
Both out for blood tonight, and both get a couple of goals. And it was a really good. This is a really good Brad Marchand we're starting to see here. He wasn't great the other night, but for the most part, since Montgomery has left, Brad Marchand has been playing much better hockey and much more assertive hockey. And it's helpful for them because they need his offense, obviously. It's just not a lot of offensive scoring in this group. That second goal by Geekie, that was a great block by Lowry and a good look ahead by Brazo. I mean, that's how you play transition hockey. That's how you play opportunistic hockey. And, they get a good 2 points here in the second night of a back-to-back, which is what you always like to see too, traveling from home on the road, second night of a back-to-back, and getting the win. But as you said, right before we went on, they're beating up on the also-rans, and they have nots. Let's see what they do against the Habs when they play at Winnipeg shortly.
Yeah, that's true. And I did say that, and I do mean it. And I'm not sure how good they are, but again, they got to take care of business against the bad teams. If you're going to be a playoff team, these are the games you have to win. These are the teams you have to beat. And now they seem to be taking care of business against those type of teams. So that's good to see. That's a positive. They need to do that. I mean, the second night of a back-to-back with travel, that's kind of a scheduled loss. Mm-hmm. So to come in and get a win, they seem to have their legs for the most part. Again, a good sign. Attention to details, able to score some goals, didn't give up much. Swayman got kind of unlucky on the second one there. It pinballs off of Carlo and Zadorov before it goes in. So, a little unlucky there. But, overall, a pretty good night. The power play towards the end of the night, I thought, had some pretty good looks. And if it wasn't for Mrazek, they probably would have had a power play goal there. He made some huge saves late. So, things trend in the right direction overall. And the Bruins are playing how they need to play. They're buttoning things up defensively and being opportunistic on offense. So, all good signs going forward.
How about that first goal? I didn't love how the defensive coverage was miserable on that goal, but I didn't love how Swayman reacted, after the save, and then didn't seem like too quick to get back up onto his skates and to get side to side, and seemed a little bit fish out of water there.
Yeah, I mean, I said it during the game. He slid out. He slid out of the crease? He slid out of his angle, and he basically gave a wide open net to the guy coming, with the shot coming back, and it was terrible coverage It was.
Oh boy.
3 guys like go towards the net and leave the guy wide open. And the puck was not at the net, so I don't know why they were going there. And left the guy wide open to shoot. So kind of a bad play by Swayman, but bad defense too overall. So I guess you can chalk that up to a bad play all around. But you can't do those things, especially against the good teams in the league and expect to win games. So, it's something they got to clean up. It's something Swayman has to clean up. That's the second time I feel like, in as many games, I think he did in his last game too, or maybe it was a game before that where he kind of slid off his angle, got outside the post and then ended up on his stomach and they scored on him. Sure. So, it's happened to him a couple times here and he's usually a little more composed, a little more, staying within the pipes. And if he's starting to do this, maybe it's time for him to, have some meeting time, have some practice time with goalie Bob and give up the crease for a couple of games to get himself right. Because
Bobby Essenza. Yeah. Saturday they play an afternoon game. And I'd have to think Korpisalo gets in there, I would assume.
I would think so.
Against Philadelphia, I would think.
Yeah.
I like you said, he wasn't tested very much tonight, Swayman. And that was probably a good thing. And look, this is a team the Bruins should beat. I mean, the Blackhawks are, they're
the worst team in the league.
They're the worst team in hockey. And they just played Montreal recently, who are not far behind. So,
they're the worst team in the league. Chicago has the worst, lowest point total in the league. So, I mean, they may have some games in hand on other people, but right now, lowest point total in the league. So that's a team that you need to beat. Bedard looks like a shell of himself. I don't know.
He does.
Beaten down by, the losing, or, he doesn't have anybody really to play with. I don't know what the problem is. They brought in Teravainen to play with them, and then they split him up. They were back together there at the end. They just don't seem to really have the chemistry that you would hope for, I guess, if you're a Blackhawks fan. He looked. I mean, maybe it was just the Bruins paying extra attention to them, like teams do to Pastrnak. Anytime he had the puck, they were around him. They were swarming him. Even double teamed him at one point on the power play, I think, where they were trying to force it out of his hand. And it seemed to pay off for the most part. Bedard didn't really seem dangerous at all, aside from that late rush when he was coming out of the penalty box. But it's weird to see a kid like that has so much promise, but it's kind of I don't know, looks frustrated and beaten down a little bit.
Well, they even said it on the broadcast, like they're not really looking for him. Like there was a part when he stepped on the ice, and typically like Connor McDavid, as soon as he gets on the ice, like teams kind of looking for him to get the puck on his stick. And they just don't seem to treat him in that fashion when they should be. And look, they surrounded him with a lot of veterans. I mean, we know the 6 Bruins veterans that are on there. Yeah. So maybe it's just that, like Macklin Celebrini, for instance, he's playing with a bunch of younger guys.
Yeah.
And maybe he's able to go out and play. Maybe the veteran guys are just, they're playing professional hockey and they don't really sort of cater to him. Maybe. I don't know. I have no idea what it is, but you're right. I just didn't seem like he was sort of the attraction out there for them, and kind of getting lost in the shuffle as another guy, which you can't have. I mean, you just have to make sure that he's the guy. He's awfully small. Like
he's also the one who lost his check on the Marchand goal on the Pastrnak cross ice feed there, slot feed. So, maybe they're saying to him, until you can, play defense, we're not gonna, we're not gonna prop you up offensively. I don't know. I don't know what it is, but whatever the case may be, things are broken in Chicago right now.
Right, for sure. Marchand gets a couple of goals, and then the Bruins give up another late period goal.
Yeah, oh yeah.
That's not great. A minute and a half to go.
Yeah. We're going to have to be a teacher for that. Late period goals allowed. It's called Bruins.
It's called Bruins. Yes. That's a great shirt. Yeah, that's a great shirt that I want to burn. Because I'm watching the game, I'm just like 3-1. Like this is
Yeah,
Cupcake City, and
right.
all of a sudden, bing bang boom,
They probably
it's in
thought
the
the
net.
same thing. I mean,
Yeah,
I think that's when this team gets into trouble.
they do.
It's like they start feeling themselves a little bit, like the game the other night when they scored early, got a couple early. They're like, oh, we're gonna blow this team out. We're gonna win 5-1, and then before you know it, it's a ball game again.
It's not 5-1 at all. It's 3-2 heading into the third, and then you're on the road second out of a back to back. That was not great, but they played another good third period. That's another thing.
Mm-hmm.
They scored a goal in the third, and they played another good third. So that's something that they haven't been doing. They're one of the worst third period teams in the league.
Yeah,
to this point. So
yeah.
that's
So
a good thing too.
yeah, more
Yeah.
positive signs.
Yeah. So
6-2
they're playing
now
a type of
under Joe Sacco.
Yeah, I mean it was 6-2. Yeah, 6-2.
6-2, 5-2 going into the game.
Yeah. So that's pretty good. Win 6 out of 8. I mean, of course, these are games you should probably win, but
Absolutely.
they weren't necessarily winning them before. So
Right.
that's good. Faceoffs of 30-18 for Boston. So that was a good night on the faceoff dot as well. And it seems like the teams are blocking. Is it me or teams blocking a lot of shots against the Bruins?
They are, but I think this might come back to the quantity versus quality thing.
Right. Now they're just firing away.
Yeah, I think they're just shooting, whereas in the past they probably turned down that shot. But look, I like the shot mentality. I like the the coaching point to get the puck to the net, to have guys shoot, don't turn shots down. If you have a way, an avenue to get the puck to the net, get it to the net. I mean, that's how this team should play. That's how they should score goals. Geeky's goal, the first one, I believe, coming down the slot, shot, his own rebound, puts it in.
Okay.
Marchand's goal, Pastrnak shot, Marchand, rebound, puts it in. Rebound goal, like that's how you need to win. That's how you need to play. So get pucks to the net. If they block some, they block some. But I like the mentality of getting pucks to the net whenever.
Yeah, I've never really heard before this season of the Montgomery. I've never really heard of that style of hockey where you don't shoot as much as you can. Like this, it's just odd to me. It's just odd. It's all very odd.
It is. Turn down shots unless it's a tap in.
Turn it down. Don't take that one. No.
No, we only want
that one might go in. Don't do that.
Yeah.
All right, fan comments. It wouldn't be a post game without T-Boz and his sip tonight. Eagle Rare 10-year, one of the most underrated bourbons there is.
Okay.
Eagle Rare.
I'm gonna have to write these down. I'm gonna have to open up a notes app with all T-Boz
bourbons. Yeah, and then open up your wallet. I think because I think
right. He said we can't get a lot of them because he's a fancy guy down there in Florida.
He's fancy.
He has access to bourbons and stuff that the regular layman like us can't get a hold of.
You're saying it's going to take a few more subscribers to get to the Eagle Rare.
Yeah, we're gonna have to have some people subscribe to the channel
to the high end,
and then maybe we can afford some of that stuff. We'll have to steal it like that. Do you watch that Netflix documentary on the Van Winkle whiskey or bourbon that was like this high-end bourbon or whiskey that was really hard to come by, and then people started stealing it out of the distillery and selling it on the side? It was fucking fascinating. It really was.
Was it?
Yeah.
That's funny.
It was. It was. It was a pretty good documentary. You should check it out.
That reminds me when my father was working at a convenience store as a kid, and they kept running out of vanilla extract, and they were like, "Why are we running out of vanilla extract?" Well, because there was a drunk woman down the street that kept drinking vanilla extract and like lifting it from the store. Yeah, that would be me. I'm more apt to get the vanilla extract than the Eagle Rare.
So you're getting shit faced on vanilla extract.
I got a 10-year vanilla extract. It's like $8 a bottle.
Yeah.
I don't know. Nice goal. Brazer is really good feeding from behind the net. So
He is.
T-Boz is on the Brazer train. He is, though. I mean, he gets down to the goal line and is probably not a better player on the team than Justin Brazeau along the goal line.
Yeah, at the net front. I would agree. I don't think there is. I really don't. And who would have thought that we would be saying this? But the kid just continues to produce.
Yeah.
And if he's going to do that, then you got to keep him in the lineup. A couple more points tonight. So, I mean, he's making the most of his opportunity. And, he may have some faults. But I tell you what, I've always talked about elite skills.
Yeah. Okay.
He's got an elite
skill. Yeah, he has an elite skill.
He's elite at the net front. He is.
Yeah, I'm with you. He does. You talk about elite skills. You have to have an elite skill in the league.
You do.
To be an effective player, and he has one. He
does.
He does have an, and he's a fairly. And I'll tell you what, he's right, T-Boz. He's a better passer than you think. Like he's especially from behind the net. Like he's kind of Gretzky's office, Brazeau's office. I mean, just not gonna tear away.
Yeah, it's like Gretzky, Michael Scott, like Gretzky, Justin Brazeau.
Yeah, same thing, same difference. Adrian says, yes, Pasta passing to Marchand in that first Marchand goal is what you guys have been talking about. All the defenders are on Pasta, and then Marchand gets the clear shot. And Pastrnak is a better passer than people give him credit for. He's a good passer. He really is when he does it. And when he has good vision, he's a good passer. He did it with Zacha when everybody in America thought he should shoot it in the overtime goal.
Yeah.
But that was a good pass there and a good pass to Marchand for the one-timer to score tonight. And Adrian is right. That's what we have been talking about. He's getting so much attention that he needs to pass the puck. And you talked about it a couple of games ago. Like, you don't think that Pasta ever passes anymore.
No,
I think he needs to get back to it.
Yeah, he does need to get back to her because I think he's trying to do too much. He's trying to hold on to the puck, and do too much. And I think the scoring drought and the goal scoring drought, that stuff was weighing on him. I think the fact that he's got some assists here, multiple point games and a few games here now that, he's starting to loosen up a little bit. And I think the goals will come. I do.
Okay. Adrian is sipping eggnog tonight with Weldon Mills Rockfish Whiskey, local to North Carolina.
Oh, I love the sound.
Adrian's in North Carolina. Maybe we got to get to the Outer Banks and drink some Rockfish whiskey.
I definitely need to get to the Outer Banks.
Yeah, I do too. I have not been there ever. I've never been to the Carolinas at all. So that's a sin in itself.
I've been to South Carolina multiple times. Hilton Head.
Yeah.
My grandma used to have a place down there.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Craig Lalieve. Yes, Craig. As I said last post game or whatever the hell it was, put Pasta in the bumper. Give it a chance. Give it a shot. Why the hell not? Put him in the bumper. And I don't think that's a bad idea. And I don't know why they haven't tried it, to be honest with you.
I don't either. Because I think
because Chris Kelly's.
I mean that's the answer. But if you can get the puck down low to a guy like Brazeau, and then he can feed the bumper, and it's Pastrnak. I mean, I feel like the puck's probably going in.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah,
I feel like it's going in. Yeah. If you give Pastrnak, I mean, he showed it on his goal the other night. If you give Pastrnak a shot from, the slot area, it's got a pretty good chance.
He shoots the fucking thing from the left side of the ice. Why can't he shoot it from the middle of the ice?
Yeah, I mean, that gives him more options. I feel like more places to put it.
I tell you, someone on that backside is gonna feast.
Yeah,
at that time, I mean, put a right shot over there. I don't give a shit who it is. Put McAvoy over there.
Yeah,
put somebody over there and just let him rip after everybody, just sort of caves in on Pastrnak. I love the idea. I think they should try it. We're gonna start a campaign to put Pasta on the bumper. Michael Pasta bumper friggin' tweet, whatever they call it, hashtag.
Yeah.
It's not like my father, but Liam Perkins. Yes. He says, hey boys, I live in Montreal. Heard you're coming soon. We are in April for that Bruins Canadians game. If you're looking for some Cool Spots Bars. I'll send them your way. We'd appreciate that, Liam.
Yes, Liam. Send us
Absolutely.
all of the
Send us all
recommendations.
I could say St. Catherine Street. We'll have some attention, but we're getting a little older, so I don't know how I don't know how much that'll play nowadays, but we could use some good little local spots. That'd be great.
Local bars, restaurants. Yeah, give us all the
like some local attractions. Dan Maynard, a couple of shots there. Pasta really should have gotten. That wraparound was off by inches. I'm just glad he's actually shooting at the net, though. And Pasta, they said on the broadcast too, he was getting better as the game went on. I think he's starting to kind of find his game. And look, winning helps everybody, everything. So that helps. It also helps that they're scoring some goals here and there and getting a little bit better offensively. I think it helps that they're allowed to kind of shoot the puck now, play a little more free in that way. So maybe you'll start to see Pasta come around, and I think you'll see him score some goals in a bunch here soon. T. Slizzy says that Morgan Geeky kept the receipts. You are correct. He certainly did. I mean, since that, I mean, that is funny how that happens, and all of a sudden you find the net, and Geeky can be. And there's the tweet on X or whatever the hell you call him now, post on X, where he had a little bit to say to another Bruins podcast about him being a top line guy, which he isn't. In the broadcast thought he was Connor Geeky for a while, but he's he scored a couple tonight, so that was good for them. Matthew Curtis, 3 in a row. It's nice to see the Bruins win 3 in a row. Now 14, 11, and 3, and lo and behold, they have a chance at first in the Atlantic pretty soon here if they keep it rolling. Like after all that, I mean, you can get to the halfway point of the season soon, and they could be right around the first place in the division. That's kind of insane. Matt Papa says that Osterley fits well with Mac. Good chemistry and responsible on the defensive side. Good win. I don't have anything critical to say. Osterley is a veteran. He's 32. He's been around. He's played for a few different teams, and he's a good guy to have for depth. And I don't really think that I'd love to see him, play in playoff hockey or anything. But right now, I think you're right. I think it's a good little fit for McAvoy, and I think that Zadorov Carlo thing might be something.
I do not.
Yeah, they talked about it on actually Connor Ryan wrote about it. Like a bunch of people writing about it, like it's a thing. Like it's
they're trying to talk it into existence.
Shutdown. Really?
The shutdown pair had 8 giveaways between them tonight.
Yeah.
8.
Shut down. Shut it down. Shut it down.
Shut it down.
Shut the pair down.
Shut down. Yeah. Shut it down.
Right.
Stop it.
Right. My God,
Stop
that was
doing it.
I mean, that's like putting 2 oak trees at center ice. Like I don't know about that.
I like Zadorov with Peak, and I like Lowry with Carlo.
Yeah.
And Osterley with McAvoy. Like that was fine the other night. Like leave it alone. I like Osterley a lot with McAvoy. I think he communicates better than some of the other guys. You could even hear him a couple times tonight during during the game. And so I think it works well because I think it lets McAvoy, jump up and play a little bit, and Osterley can skate and he can pass. He's similar to Grzelcyk. He's a little bit bigger, and he doesn't seem to get overwhelmed, and he doesn't seem to shy away from contact in the corners the way Grzelcyk kind of does to keep himself healthy. But so I feel like he's not a bad pairing for McAvoy, presently. I mean, obviously we want Hampus Lindholm back.
Right.
But in the meantime, I think he's a good fit there.
Yeah, I think he is too. Trav says, let's get the duck boats ready. A little chilly right now for the duck boats. Is it me or is it fucking cold early in the winter? Like I remember a December 1st where I went golfing like a couple of years ago. Like I This is pretty fucking cold.
Yeah, I mean it's cold, but
Early
welcome to
on.
England, buddy. Like how long have you
I
been there?
guess.
I mean, Jesus Christ.
But
It
I
snows in
mean,
October.
but I live in Maine. This could be 6 months of fucking.
Yeah, I mean it
This could
probably
be
will
6
be.
months of this. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah.
Like
I
it's
mean it's
dark. I mean, I'm
depressing.
already wearing black all the
Yeah.
fucking time now. Like I'm just depressed as a fuck. Like I'm
It's
just like
depressing and it's
it's
disheartening.
dark and it's disheartening and it's a kick in the balls. But you know what? Toughen up.
Yeah,
You know,
that's New
toughen
England
up.
weather in a
Yeah,
nutshell there,
I
buddy.
know. I just Jesus. I
It
mean,
is.
it's just
It's
cold.
freezing though. It
It's
is.
freezing cold. Yeah, I don't love it. We're gonna go to North Carolina with
Adrian,
Adrian,
and then we're gonna go.
Adrian has like good mashed potatoes and
Yeah,
and fucking
and
eggnog.
whiskey. Sure,
Yeah.
and eggnog. Yeah,
Trav says on that first Chicago goal, Swayman slid and bounced around like a wet dildo. Yeah, I mean that's probably true. I mean, it depends how flexible it is. I don't know.
yeah.
That's I mean, I guess it's accurate. Marchand leads the way, gets Zadorov a private seat in the penalty box. I'll tell you, Zadorov wanted to give the game away there. Nicky Canuck says that he has the most penalties in the NHL, which he does 23 now.
Mhm. Yep.
And that was a penalty on Maroon where, you could have, it's a little dive, goes down a little easy.
Yeah,
the stick was there, whatever. But, it's Zadorov. Like, just come on, dude. Like, just get your stick out of there. Like,
Yeah,
I don't know.
I feel like that was Pat
sloppy.
Maroon not being able to skate.
Yeah, it was absolutely Pat Maroon looking like me out there.
But yeah, I mean, Zadorov is gonna take penalty. Like that's what he does.
Yeah. Brandon DeRoos is just joining. Just wanted to say thanks for Jim Montgomery on behalf of all the Blues Nation. Hi, Brandon. Thanks for jumping in all seasons. I know it's been a minute, but I'm curious on your initial feelings on the firing, if you agree with it at the time. And what we did, Brandon, was we were talking about how Monty seemed to kind of give up on it.
Yeah.
And his body language was bad. And it was a lot of hands in pockets. There was a lot of weird, comments in the media. It was not a lot of talking at all on the bench. Just didn't seem very active behind the bench, and a lot of signs that he was just kind of done with it. And now, knowing what we know now, it makes a whole lot of sense because it looked like he kind of knew he wanted to get done, and he kind of had the Blues thing in the bag. So.
Yeah.
I think we kind of thought it was time. I didn't think it was necessarily Montgomery's fault, but
Not until the end.
Not until the end when he kind of made it his fault.
Yeah.
And now looking back, it looks even more like it was more of his fault because the team's playing much better now. Like, the more the team plays better, the more you can say, well, maybe it was a little bit of Montgomery being stubborn.
Yeah, I think his body language and his attitude, I think, kind of rubbed off on the rest of the team, and he seemed to be checked out, so the team seemed to be checked out.
Yeah,
and it was time for him to go. And it did seem like there was some kind of tampering or like a wink, behind the scenes deal. Like Montgomery wouldn't say when they said, when was he approached by the GM, or the GM wouldn't say. He didn't want to get into it about when he was approached about the contract. So that makes you think that it happened before he was fired. So maybe he was trying to, hands in his pockets his way out of town.
It just seemed like it. It just seemed like it. I don't know.
I'm glad that he's having success there. He's a good guy by all accounts.
Mm-hmm.
And he was in St. Louis before as an assistant, so he knows those guys over there, and they're starting to have some success. So good for him, I guess. But I'm glad that the Bruins are doing well now under Sacco.
Yeah, Connor, our producer, says quiet quitting. It seemed like that, and Armstrong and Sweeney are together on that Canadian team.
Mm-hmm.
I think there might have been a little, hey, maybe it's time. Like, I think it seems to me that there was something there where Sweeney, it almost seemed like it was sort of an agreement that was made because Sweeney and the Bruins haven't really said anything. There hasn't been any bad mouthing of Montgomery, really. Like, usually a guy leaves and then you hear things through the media. There hasn't really been much of that at all. So it almost seems as though they sort of came to an agreement, like, hey, let the guy go so we can hire him.
Do you think it was that, or do you think it was like Sweeney just talking to Armstrong about how their respective teams were doing, and Sweeney's like, oh, geez, Montgomery just doesn't seem to have it right now. We're thinking of letting him go. Like, what do you think? And he was probably like, yeah, like get rid of him.
Yeah, get rid of him. That guy sucks.
He's not good for you. He's terrible.
Sucks. And 5 days later, they're like, he doesn't suck that bad.
Yeah, and then so Sweeney, fires him, and then he jumps right on it.
Yeah, I just think that it was the whole thing was weird the last 3-4 weeks. It really was, and he obviously had the job in the bag. Give me a break. He obviously had it in the bag at some point. I don't know when it was, but if you line up the timeline, I bet you $1 million. I bet you $1 million. The hands in the pockets and the pissiness and the pouting and all that shit lines up with the time he talked to Armstrong and said, this is what we're going to do. I bet it all lined up because all of a sudden he was really sort of disengaged. And I bet that's what it was. Dan Maynard says, come to Australia. He's in the tropics. It's 95 in Australia right now in Muggy.
Yeah,
wow. It's a couple of days in the summer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Jeez. Cold in Western North Carolina mountains, though, says Adrienne. She says that's pretty cold.
Oh, she's in the mountains.
She's in the mountains. So Western North Carolina mountains. I don't even know where that is, but Western North Carolina.
Yeah.
Out to the left.
Yeah, out to the left.
Yeah, out to the left.
What's the nearest big city to that? I don't know my North Carolina geography.
I don't know. What's Western North Carolina?
Yeah,
no, is that's not Raleigh? That's east, right? Is that Raleigh?
Yeah, I think Raleigh and
Greensboro.
I think
Asheville.
Ooh, Asheville. I heard Asheville is a great place.
Just had a hurricane.
Oh,
yeah.
I heard Asheville is a great place, like to maybe retire to. Like is it like a nice community?
The Bruins Benders Podcast is going to retire to Asheville.
Yeah,
North Carolina.
Baseball down there.
Absolutely. UNC Asheville, great Smoky Mountains area.
Yeah.
Dan Maynard says, I can't imagine Monty's body language at practice by the end. And I agree with you, Dan. Practice must have been a real hoot. I mean, the team was just in the shitter in the tank, and a lot of it had to do, I bet, with the coach's attitude. Like, you take on that attitude as a team, and they just flatlined. They just absolutely flatlined.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like nobody wanted to come to the rink. Like, everybody was just fucking miserable. The team wasn't doing well. Montgomery looked absolutely miserable. His body language was fucking terrible. Sorry, John. And everybody just looked, like it was a pain to go play hockey. Like, Pastrnak's usually smiling. He wasn't looked.
Oh, everybody was just,
like it just everybody looked out of sorts and like they didn't want to be there. And it showed with the play on the ice. So, a change was made and now things seem to be trending in the right direction. So that's good.
Dale Cluck says, I missed the game, but 0 for 5 on the power play is concerning. Yes, it is. The power play has been a concern for a couple of years now, at least. Ever since Krejci left, really, and Bergeron. Like, it's just been a concern, off and on and now on all the time.
It's a concern. I thought they had their moments tonight, though, where they had some pretty good chances, and Mrazek made some really good saves on the power play. They probably could have had 1 or 2 tonight if Mrazek didn't, make a couple of miraculous saves.
Sure,
but you got to produce, though, is what it comes down to. Like, as much as it's nice to have some really good chances, I mean, I guess that's a step in the right direction. And the next thing now is we need to get some production out of it. Like, there needs to be goals. Yeah. You can't just, go through it all and not, because they're getting a bunch of power play opportunities. They're just not cashing in. So you need you need to be able to start cashing those in, especially if you have a team that 5-on-5 might struggle to score some. The power play's got to become a weapon if you have any thoughts of making any kind of a run here in the playoffs.
Yeah. And I'll tell you what, I'd rather if I had to pick, I'd rather the penalty kill be solid, really solid, than the power play. Like I think if I had to choose one, like the penalty kill would be more concerning for me. That thing needs to get right and be right.
Yeah.
For the team. They won a cup in 2011 with a horrific power play.
Sure. Yeah.
Like so you'd like it to be better. And it will, and it should be better. And they need to do something about it. And either someone else coaches it or move guys around or change the philosophy, whatever it is. But the penalty kill was something that was really alarming to me because that's not like them to have a bad penalty kill. So that needs to be better. New Hampshire Bruins 77 joins us. The only thing Zadorov is shutting down is his ice time because he's in the penalty box all the time. That's probably very true.
Yeah.
Boy, we're all over the map. I wonder if we can get all 50 states in one post-game live. Anybody from Montana?
What was the last state that
it was West Virginia, the West Virginians.
I was gonna say Wyoming, but it was
the podcast on like the Apple, Spotify, like the actual audio podcast. The last state that we didn't have a listen from or download from was West Virginia.
Yeah,
the Mountaineers. Yeah, they don't like their hockey out there. They like Dirty Dancing, and they like
football.
They like other things, football, and their own family members. Y2 Jones. Monty's body language was like my wife's at any of my work functions.
Yeah,
that is very true. That is very true. Hands in pockets, kind of giving it a look.
Yeah,
we're gonna leave.
Can we leave soon? Yeah, when is the time to leave?
Yeah, it's time to go. It's a shame we lost Chicago having the empty net. I feel like with how we were playing, we would have gotten an empty netter easier. The empty net thing's been an issue too with this team. I don't know what it is. They just can't score an empty net. I don't know exactly what it is, but
I agree though. I did with Dan. I think they would have gotten an empty netter if the net would have stayed empty there, but didn't get the power play. But they had 6 guys out there skating around for a bit with Mrazek still in the net. So
Liam says that Zadorov is a playoff style player. And I know that last year in the playoffs, he actually had I think it was last year he had a decent playoff where he scored some goals and he was active. So Liam seems to think that that's the ticket is once Zadorov gets there.
Well, I think in the playoffs in front of the net, they probably let you get away with a little bit more. And I think he'll be up to the challenge, shall we say, to rough people up in front of the net because that's his game. And if in the playoffs they will let you get away with that rather than just standing there and if you tie up a stick or give a guy a cross check, that's frowned upon. In the playoffs, they let a little more of that stuff go. So
sure,
hopefully that's true. I would love that to be true.
Well, this is what we wanted, like the nastiness, like the Gudis and those guys. Like we want Zadorov. They're gonna let some of that go. Maybe the playoffs or where Zadorov shines. Like he starts to be a real prick and does what you need him to do. Maybe that's very true. I hope so. I hope so because that would be why they got him and spent a godly amount of money on him.
Got to get there first.
You got to get there. Zadorov should sponsor the penalty box, says Y2 Jones. I think he has a better chance of sponsoring this podcast.
It's sponsor the podcast.
Yes. He can do that if he wants. Cam is from Oregon. Yeah, Oregon. Have you been out there, Oregon?
I've never been to Oregon. I've been to California. But never to Oregon or Washington State. Never been to Seattle.
Never been to Seattle. No, I've always been intrigued by Seattle.
I really like the Pacific Northwest. My wife loves. I think it's Oregon. There's a bunch of wines from the Willamette Valley in Oregon that she loves. Big fan. You're
gonna get up to Walla Walla, Washington, or wherever Drew Bledsoe is there with his wine.
I
think he's out there somewhere.
Some good wine stuff up there. My wife's a big fan of the Oregon wines. So we got to get up there at some
I didn't
point.
know that was a thing. Really?
Washington, Seattle. even Vancouver is heard is beautiful. So I gotta check that area out some point.
Yeah. Beth says that Zadorov has spent an hour in the penalty box, and that is correct. This season, key to the game for Y2 Jones. In order to be a playoff player, you need to make the playoffs.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. You got to get there first for him to be able to do all those, nasty playoff things.
Without a doubt. Gam says it's Kraken country in Oregon. That would make sense. Seattle, you don't really have a hockey team, so
yeah,
Seattle Kraken, the team out in Oregon. And Dan Maynard, maybe Zadorov should go to Florida for playoffs, seeing as they get no fucking penalties. Apparently, sorry, John. Yes, that is true. That is true. Beer and wine is what they do in Oregon.
Yep,
says
good stuff.
Yeah. So Bruins win tonight, 4-2 in Chicago. They win back-to-back days. They have 3 wins in a row. They're 14-11-3. They're up to, what is that, 31 points now on the season.
Yeah, I believe they're still in third. Still in third.
Yeah, with a couple of points.
Florida's 32 points. Toronto's 34 points. But they both have. Toronto has 3 games in hand, and Florida has 2 games in hand.
Yeah, see, there's the rub. There's the rub right there. So, but right now, Bruins are winning with Joe Sacco, 6-2. And they'll take on the Philadelphia Flyers is that in Philly? It's at 1:00 on Saturday. I don't know if that's in Philly or if that's here.
It is here.
It's here at TD Garden. So 1:00 Saturday. We'll have the post game without Tyler. Without Smitty. Without Tyler Houghton-Smith. His government name. Smitty. And so it'll be the Maddie and Connor show on Saturday after Bruins Flyers. Hey, thanks again, everyone. It's been great. Another great chat tonight and a good Bruins win. It's always nice for the Bruins to win. And we'll see everybody again on Saturday. Hey, new episode drops tomorrow morning, bright and early on all platforms. And then tomorrow afternoon right here on YouTube. Until next time, as always, go Bruins.
Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.